Okay, well,
Excellent.
let's do it. So without further ado, Nicolas, if you can kickstart your session, and we're looking forward to your session. Thank you.
Excellent. Thanks to you. Hello, everyone, and thank you for being here today and for spending your Saturday with us. Uh, as already mentioned, the session right now is about the real omni-channel experience, not only for the customer but also for the agent. Uh, a quick introduction of myself. Um, my name is Nicolas Fernandez, Nico Fernandez in short. I am Microsoft MVP for business application. I am also pre-sales director at Infoban. Uh, and this session it's about, of course, the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. And the idea is to make a quick introduction on the customer service app and the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. Then we are going to jump into the idea that this is an omnichannel platform for everyone, and we will compare it with previous versions of Dynamics or other platforms that you might know. And at the end, we're going to see a quick introduction on the practice, on step by step, on how to work with the omnichannel engagement hub. Um, so just to be clear, my main objective here is to help everyone or to um, share my thoughts about the business values on the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. This is not going to be a fully technical session. The idea also is to understand the difference between the current scenario and what we were able to do a few months or a few years ago with Dynamics. And at the end, yes, we're going to understand the first step to make to implement the Omnichannel Engagement Hub for a customer or for your own organization. So the first thing to have in mind is what is being omnichannel, and this is fully my concept or the three key ideas, key concepts that I think we need to keep in mind when we try to think about being omnichannel. The first one is quite obvious, is that you need to be in many places, but the truth is that you don't need to be everywhere. So being in the channels that you or your business and your customers expect you to be, and that makes sense, that's all you need to do. And you don't have to go from 0 to 100 in 2 months. So if you're starting with a really basic strategy right now with only maybe telephone and email, it's hard to jump from there to all the channels. So keep that in mind. The second one is to bring a seamless experience between all the channels. And this is the key difference between multi-channel and omni-channel. And we will talk about that in a slide. And the first thing is to really empower the agents. So there's no, it makes no sense to have a lot of channels, but also a lot of platforms to handle from the agent's perspective. So that was, and I'm sneak peeking the next slides, but that was the scenario until a few months or a few years ago. And right now we have a fully platform that allows you to have a really omni-channel strategy. I remember I think it was 2016, 2015, 16 when Microsoft launched or buy both actually Parture and social listening, and so all those platforms that came to life and already die. Uh, and we were all talking about omni-channel all the time, but did we really were talking about omni-channel? Well, if you follow these three concepts, I don't think we were. So that's the key difference between multi-channel and omni-channel. Of course, both ideas share the concept of being in multiple channels. Uh, there's no threshold that you have to break to be being omni-channel, but there is a few things to consider. If you are multi-channel, it means that you have disaggregated channels. It means that probably the teams that work with each channel won't have the full visibility of what the other persons are doing with the customers with information. And for that, the clear consequence is that you'll bring inconsistent experience for the customer and or the agent. And these are three things that you need to keep in mind if you want to check if you are being omnichannel or just multi-channel. In the other hand, if you are being omnichannel, well, you have all the channels integrated into your business processes. You will bring some consolidated vision and handling of all communications, regardless of the channel. So it doesn't care if from a chat, email, or phone call. The way that you handle all the communications, the places where you see and manage all the information should be the same. And the third point is it's quite a text there. The idea that your customer can start the process through any channel, for example, social media, then they can continue it with another channel, and so on, so until they finish the process through any other channel, and the experience from the beginning to the end, it's seamless. That's the key concept for omnichannel. So what are the main differences if we think about Dynamics 365 customer service, just that app, and if we compare it with the omnichannel engagement hub capabilities? Of course, in both cases, we have all the SLA things, entitlements, and so. But if we compare it in terms of the channels and how to handle the customers, it's really clear. For the customer service app, we have traditional channels as out-of-the-box channels, email, telephone. Of course, you have to create the call. If not, you need an integration. And then if you need to create new channels, for example, a soft phone to integrate with the CTI, you have the channel integration framework, and that works fine. And you might think, okay, just with that, we can create an omni-channel experience. And well, in a way, probably you might be able to create that. The thing is, on the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, we not only have those channels, but also we have many other new channels out of the box: Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, Line, WeChat, Teams, and also you can create custom channels with the channel integration framework version 2. But then again, on the customer service app, you can handle one customer and one window or tab of information per time. You cannot handle many conversations with many customers. And in Omnichannel Engagement Hub, you have this multi-session and multi-tab experience. So for the multi-session, you will be able to talk with different customers through different channels. And on each conversation, on each session, you will be able to handle different tabs of information. So you will be able to navigate through the customer's information without needing to refresh the window to go outside the conversation and to lose the information on your screen. So this is a key differentiator between both. And then on the customer service side, you have classic routine rules, and of course the rest of the customer service app, it's also in the omnichannel. But then on the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, we have the agent scripts with macros if we need those. We have a skill-based routing. We have agent status to define which agent is available and which not. So there's a lot of things, not only the channels that are available on the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, that make the difference. And again, this is something to remember, because with the channel integration framework, theoretically, we are able to create many channels of our own customer service, but that's not the only thing that the Omnichannel Engagement Hub bring to us. So as key concept of this solution, we have started thinking in a customer experience center, not a contact center, because when we have many channels, and when we can design a customer journey for these channels, and we control how we treat, how we handle the conversations, we are jumping into the experience that our customer is having with us. Of course, in the middle of this is the case management. We won't forget about that. But there are two of the three major arguments that Microsoft puts on the table when they talk about proactive customer service or enabling always on service. And so um, there are two things I think there are the important things to discuss with our customers. And on these days, with all the COVID situation, more than ever, and those are the agent empowerment and the personalized service. And why is that? Because when we bring new tools to our people, to our agents, to our employees, we are making them more efficient, and this is something that all the companies nowadays are looking for. On the other hand, uh, if we think about personalized service, we are thinking about bringing better experiences to our customers. We are thinking about reducing uh, the churn KPI. So these are two ideas that are really important today for the businesses, because they want to be more efficient, they want to save cost, but they also want to keep the customers with them, and of course they want to have more customers. So if they can give a personalized and a better service than their competitors, it's something that the customers, everyone, you and I, all of us think about a company. So there are many capabilities that help us to create this customer experience center. Some of those are only for the Omnichannel engagement hub, but there are a few that are shared within customer service and the Omnichannel, of course, as I mentioned. Just a few to highlight. Of course, the Omnichannel experience is the base of all these, but also the AI insights that we receive all the time that we are talking with the customer. We are able to analyze the sentiment of the conversation in real time. So if there's something wrong with customer, we will be able to know it and detect it at a glance. So this is very important. The ability to have agent scripts with macros, and these are short automations, but they're important for the people working on the line. And I used to work a lot of years ago at a call center, and I had three systems that I had to log into to be able to work, and no automation at all. And those things are nightmares. So it doesn't matter if it's a tiny thing that you automate for an agent, but if you can help them to bring the right information to your screen with by clicking just the button, this is something huge and something that will make the agent be more happy with the show. And this is something also something important for the companies today, because the rotation is not good for any company, and all the costs that makes to make a new agent to learn how to work is something that all the companies today needs to have in mind. So if we go and we start thinking about the customer's perspective on this, there try to imagine that you have a problem with a company, probably a telephone company or cable company are the two more hated companies on internet. So we try to start a conversation through a channel of our choice, right? We complain with the company on Twitter. This is something we do on a daily basis. Well, we're talking with someone. First, we start talking publicly, then they send us to a DM, and we start talking privately. And at some point, we might want to talk literally with someone. So maybe we want to engage in a different channel, and we don't want to explain everything from zero. So we're talking with the same company. They should be know they should know what we just told to the partner, to the other agent. So we call the contact center, and how many times happens that the contact center doesn't know anything about what happens on Twitter? This is really common, or at least when I used to complain in Argentina, it was every time. So we have to think of that. We have to think that the customer will jump from one channel to the other, and the information needs to be shared, needs to be accessible by every agent. It doesn't matter for which department or for which channel they work. So probably if I have a self-service channel, maybe I want to make some follow-up of a promise of a solution or something like that. And then the self-service portal that we have an excellent session before come into place. So I can go into the self-service portal. I can check about the status of my case, and I also can publish some feedback, some comments, and so being into a portal, maybe I want to get more information. Maybe I want to bring more insights about the problem. So maybe I need some assistance through an intelligent virtual assistant. And there is where the integration between virtual agent on the support portal comes to play. And finally, I will end this conversation through any channel. I don't know. They gave me a solution. I go to the same portal, the same self-service portal, and I close the case. Or maybe I receive an SMS and I answer the SMS and that close the case. I don't care. I just close the conversation. This thing it's already closed for me. So in conclusion, I need to have a similar experience through all the channels. And I know I said it many times, and probably I will say it a few times more, but I think this is the key of talking about the omnichannel engagement hub or any omnichannel solution. So that's great. For the customer, we have the perspective, but as I mentioned on the title on before, we have to think about the agent, because there's no it doesn't make any sense to have all the channels connected to different applications and have an agent jumping from one to the other, trying to consolidate all the information in one screen. It doesn't make any sense. So a real omnichannel strategy thinks both actors as participants of an omnichannel experience, not only the customers. And of course, as an agent, I want to receive all the communication, as I mentioned, in a unique platform. I don't want to do Alt Tab. I'm sorry, I don't know how to say Alt Tab in English. So I don't want to do that. I want also to receive just the amount of customers that I can handle. And this is something with the capacity management that we can do. So if I only can handle free chat at the same time, I want the system to be smart enough, intelligent enough to route me only free customers by chat. But if I have to receive a call, of course, I cannot receive free calls, so I need to receive only one. Those kind of management on the capacity of an agent is something that we can do with the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, and we'll talk about it a bit later. So then I want multi-session. If I can handle more than one customer, I want it to be easy for me. And I want to be able to navigate through all the information of my customer without jumping from one screen to another. It doesn't matter if it's the same application. I don't want to be refreshing the tab all the time. If it's possible, of course, an intelligent script with automated steps is something that I would like to have, and this is what the agent script brings to life, and this is something that we also are going to talk about in a few slides. Then, if I can control, or if I can have many customers at the same time, I need to be able to control the ongoing conversations and the available conversations in case that I have to pick one. And if this conversation, for example, if a chat has power virtualization, as we saw in a previous in a previous session today, I want this virtualization to bring me some insights, so the customer doesn't have to tell me everything again. And if I can automate some steps of my my conversation with the customer, then it's better. And finally, I need a strong 300-degree view. We saw on the first sessions of this event on this day how customer insight can help to bring more information on the 360-degree view. And this is something important because not only the interactions that the customer make, not only the touch points are handled by someone. Some of them are automated, some of them are impersonated. So we need all this information to bring to the agent. And if we compare the situations that we have before and the scenario that we have right now, I'll try to be really quick with the now situation because I already mentioned many of those. But before the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, we actually, I think, I think we didn't have a real Omnichannel experience. Maybe we had it for the customer, because with, of course, with customer service, we have all the traditional channels. Then with social engagement, we were able to bring all the social media, all the social activities into Dynamics, but the integration was really limited. So in which sense, I don't know if everyone was able to play or to implement social engagement. This is something I worked a lot on those days. And you were able to automate the integration of some social activities from social engagement to Dynamics 365, but you weren't able to interact from Dynamics 365 with the customer through a tweet. You weren't able to reply a tweet or to reply a Facebook comment. So for the agent, it wasn't really omnichannel. At least they have to be in two places, in social engagement and into Dynamics 365. Then we didn't have a native chat. We have to use an ISP, sorry, an ISP. And again, we only can handle one customer at a time. And finally, we have of course, the channel integration framework. It's not as old as social listening or social engagement, but we used to have it. Then, if we compare it, it's really clear the differences. Then again, I'm not going to jump back the same ideas that I already mentioned, but there's one thing here I didn't mention before, and is that I have the possibility to treat cases and other activities at the same way I treat the chat. So if I want to distribute the cases, if I want to distribute maybe campaign activities, the same way, with the same priorities and the same capacity management, I will be able to do it with the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. And this is something really interesting to dig into. So the current scenario is something like this. You have your customer on one side with all the channels available to interact with us. All the channels goes to the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. Of course, the Omnichannel Engagement Hub is connected with customer service, and customer service can be connected with sales, marketing, customer service insight, customer insight, etc., etc., etc. And the agent only have one application to work with, and this is the real omnichannel experience. Any other scenario, if the customer weren't able to communicate with many channels, or if the agent had to be logged into many places, it's not truly omnichannel for both sides. So what should we have to keep in mind to start working with the Omnichannel Engagement Hub? Well, the first thing, as a company, of course, not as a partner that implement the Omnichannel for the companies, but as a company, you need to be really clear on your strategy. So I mentioned something before. If you only have 2 channels, if you have traditional channels and you want to bring new channels into your strategy, that's okay. But don't try to go from 0 to 100 in 2 months. This is something that will change the way you work. It will change the way your agents work. It will change the way the supervisors work. So try to define the omnichannel strategy first, and then jump to the platform. The second is, of course, get the right licenses. All the agents and supervisors that need to get into the Omnichannel Engagement Hub needs at least 2 licenses. The first one, always the Customer Service Enterprise license. And the second one can be the Dynamics 365 Chat add-on or the Dynamics 365 Digital Messaging add-on. The difference between one and the other is which channels will be available for the Omnichannel Engagement Hub or for the agents. And I mentioned at least these 2 licenses because for the supervisor, there is a Power BI out-of-the-box report that they can, dashboard that they can use, but they will need, of course, the Power BI license. So it's not mandatory. It's not something that it's required to implement the omnichannel. It's only if they are going to use this dashboard. Then the configuration of the environment. This is something that is not hard. It's actually a really simple wizard, but you need to take in consideration 2 things. The first one, it takes time. It's not something quick. It's not something that you go to next, and in 15 minutes you have the environment configured. It's something that will last a few hours, and in sometimes you will have to go back, roll back, and try again because it can have an installation error. It used to happen more before on the last after the last release of April. I didn't have a problem with that, but before April I have a few issues on that. And after we have all this, you need to configure the application, and this is not an easy application. There are a lot of things to consider. You have your users. The users have, of course, the capacity. They have the default status. Then you can add skills to the equation. You have to configure the work streams, and we'll talk about the work streams in a few moments. You have to configure all the queues, all the channels, the agent scripts, the macros, all the notification and session templates. And of course, out of the box, there are a few things already done. But if you want to bring your own strategy to life, well, there are a few things there to keep in mind. And this goes not only for the customers that will, or for the organization that will implement it, but also for the partners that will implement it, because we as partners need to estimate the effort, and well, there are a few tasks there to keep in mind. So how does it look when a customer contact with us and we have the Omnichannel Engagement Hub? The first thing, of course, the customer has a problem. They will choose a channel, and in this case, it's going to be a chat. This conversation will enter into dynamics, into the Omnichannel, and it will be connected to a work stream. This work stream will define how this conversation will be distributed, and there are two ways. We are going to talk about them in the next slide. One is push, and the other is peak, actually. And it also defines the capacity, and we want to talk about capacity also in a few slides. Then it's going to be categorized, and it's going to go to the right queue. And finally, it's going to be distributed to the right agent. This means that this agent has the capacity, the skills, the knowledge. So the routing rules here are quite a thing, and of course we can do the simplest implementation. All the communication goes to this queue, and we have all the agents on the same queue, and we have no problem at all. But then for bigger organizations, we will have larger or more complicated scenarios. And again, both for the organization and for the partner, this is important when they are trying to define the scope of a project, because this is a complex application. Again, I don't want to say it's a bad application, not at all. It's a great application, but it's something that you need to know. It's complex if you need it to be complex, but it's easy if you want it to be easy. Well, the work stream. For me, this is the key of everything. Of course, you define all the information that you need to be able to route these conversations here, which channels will be applied, the routing rules, the capacity, and I don't want to speak what capacity means, but I'm mentioning it a lot. So, well, capacity. What is capacity? The capacity for a work stream is the weight of a conversation. So each agent has a few, and I'm going to jump fast forward a little bit to this other slide. Give me just 1 second here. So each user has capacity units. We determined it at the user form, and in this case is 100. Then the work stream also has a capacity, and what it means is that you will need at least 30 capacity units free available to have a new, in this case, chat conversation. If you don't have 30, you won't be able to handle a new chat. So going to the simplest example, if I only have the chat as the unique channel, then I will be able to handle only 3 conversations with this configuration, because each chat conversation will full 30 boxes of my capacity unit. And then it's going to be 30, 60, 90, and I won't be able to handle a 4th chat conversation. And we're going to see what it means into the platform in a few seconds. Going back to this slide, then on each work stream, we can configure the quick replies, and of course, the session and notification templates. So how do you want the session looks like to the customer that comes from this channel? Okay, it's not only channel as a chat, every chat conversation. No, it's for chat, but through this work stream. So this is important. Again, this can be as complex as you want or as simplest as you want. What I mentioned before, the 2 work distribution modes. I have here this video shows the push. You receive a pop-up notification. It can be on Dynamics or also on your desktop, and then you can reject or you can accept depending on the configuration. And the other one is peak, and we're going to see it into Dynamics in a few seconds, in a few moments. and you just have a stream there, and you pick the conversation that you want to handle. And the notifications, you can configure all the experience. So you can configure how the notification look, not everything, of course. This is a model-driven app. It's not a Canvas app. So you can configure the timeout of a notification. You can configure if the label of the accept button, and if you want it to be with a reject button or not. And then you can configure if you want it to have a desktop notification in case that the Omnichannel engagement hub it's on it's not in front of it's not the main window open. Then the information on the notification, also you can bring some notification fields into this pop-up as you prefer. So the capacities, we already talked about it. And then the agent script. It's really simple. It's really simple. It's not a big deal, but you can configure different scripts, and you can allow the agent to select different the script that they want to use, or you can automate it. Then you have three kind of steps. Text instructions. You have to greet the customer, and when you complete it, you just click on the blue button. You can introduce some macros. There's some logic into the script. The way that you configure it is really like Power Automate. And the third one is you can route the script to another script. So I'm going to use a few moments into the platform to refresh some of the things that were mentioned before. I'm going to unshare the screen and share again. Please let me know when you can see. This is screen 1. Yes. Let me know if you can see the screen now. I'm going to take this as a yes. Okay, well, here we have the first thing you see as an agent when you log. Yes, thank you there. When you log into the Omnichannel Engagement Hub, actually there are two applications that are installed when you configure it. The first one is the Omnichannel for customer service. The other one is for the administrators. And this is the Omnichannel agent dashboard. There are three things that we see here. The first one are the work items that are active in some way. We have the first one is actually active. We have a Sean Smith person here waiting for me to answer, and I'm going to come here again just in 1 second. And the other one is in wrap up status. It means that the conversation is already done, it's closed, but I'm doing some after call kind of work. So I only can post some internal messages, but this still counts as a conversation that I have open. So this is the first stream. The second one only makes sense if you have a peak mode, distribution mode in a work stream. So if you don't have any work stream with a peak distribution mode, this is going to be empty always. And how do we see here the way that appears? So I'm here on the self-service portal. I'm going to copy the case number. I'm going to open the chat. It asks me about the case number. It's not mandatory, so I could go with submit without putting it. But for this example, I will use it. So it tells me that some agent is going to be here in a moment. And if I refresh this screen, now I have here this conversation available for me to pick this chat. So I can see here the channel, I can see here the queue. So there are a lot of information that I can see, and then I can assign it to me with just 2 clicks. Okay, and the first stream are all the closed work items that I closed in the last day. So why did I put the case number? Because on this chat I introduced the case number as a pre-chat survey, and because it's on the portal and I'm already logged and I introduce the case number, it finds me the customer and the case. So when I open this conversation, I have all the information that I need to help this customer. So really quick, what do I have? The quick information, the card of the case, the card of the contact, and I have the recent cases. If there were any other chat service questions, I will see it here. Of course, the waiting time, some information, and some visitor information, and then I have a timeline. But here I can change it from the contact to the case. So I can have on the same screen all the information that I need to help this customer, to know what happened with this customer, regardless the channel of any previous activity or communication. So this is something that keep in mind. This is really cool. I would like to have it on other entities also. So we can close here and we have a full screen. Of course, we can close this navigation bar and we can have the full screen. If I will configure the script, it would appear here on the right screen. I don't have it right now. And then when you mention the tabs, these are the tabs that you can configure as part of the session experience. Okay, and this is something that we can change from work stream to work stream. Okay, one more thing before jumping to the administration app. Here we have the agent dashboard, but we also have, well, actually it's on the other tab, the ongoing conversation dashboard. It tells me for each agent, or actually for each conversation, who the customer is, if it's identified, because not all the conversation are going to be identified. Sometimes it's going to be visitor and it's anonymous until the agent is able to identify the customer. Of course, the subject, the queue, the channel, the state of this conversation. The sentiment, not always we're going to have sentiment, because if there's no conversation, like this example, I opened the chat but I didn't put anything, it's going to be nothing. Well, and then the work stream that is this conversation were created from. Okay, so jumping really quickly to have some minutes in case there are questions. One thing I mentioned, and I think it's important, the activity entities. We can create work stream for the activity entities, but it's not for every entity. We have, of course, the cases, and we have the campaign activities. These are, for me, at least, 2 of the measured entities. Then for the people that has field service, there are a few entities from field service that make sense, but as a regular or classic implementation, campaign activities is something that never had much sense for marketing use, because it's only distributed and so. But in this case, you can take these activities and put it to a distribution mode. So when an agent is available, it starts doing some of these calls, outgoing calls from a campaign. So this is something to look into if you are using this mode. Then we have the chat. and I'm going to be really brave here with what I wanted to do. I have two chats. This is the peak chat, is the one that I use to configure the peak work stream. And then we have the new chat. This is the first one I created on here on the environment. It's with the default work stream, and I cannot change it. So this is something also to keep in mind. If you configure a channel with a work stream, it's something that you can change. So I'm going to change this snippet. I'm going to change the chat on the portal. And how hard can it be? Well, it's really simple. For me, that I am a functional consultant. So that's my technical background. I only have to go here to chat. I'm going to be here as well, and I'm going to change it here. And this is the only things I need to do. Probably I will need to clear the cache on the portal, but that's all. So I just save and close. And if I don't have to clear the cache, but probably I will have to, if I do some F5, if everything goes well, no, this is still blue, so it didn't change. So I need to clear the cache, and it's already done. That's the only thing I need to do. So it's really easy, really quick if you need to change something on that way. So what else do we have here? And I think it's important to see what I mentioned before. For each work stream, you have the session experience, and those are templates. So in this case, I have the tabs that I want to have. The anchor tab is the customer 360 and this is something from the Omnichannel. It's the one that shows me both the customer and the case. And then I have the knowledge base search, but I can add as many other tabs as I want, and I can personalize the experience for different channels. The same happens to the tabs. Here is where I can create the tabs, and the same happens to the notifications as I showed before. There are few notifications or type of notifications for a work stream, and I can change it from here. So if I want, if I don't want to be able to reject a chat that is assigned, I just change this. If I want it to be shown the desktop notification, I just change it. If I want to increment the timeout for the notification, it's really easy to change. And this is all the parameterization that you can do. Then again, to personalize the experience here on the Omnichannel Engagement Hub. So as I mentioned before, this wasn't going to be a technical session. This is a quick jump through a few things on the app. The last thing, it's about the workstream that I want to show. To recap all things I mentioned. So I have the capacity that each conversation that comes from here will need to be able to be assigned. All the allowed presences. So I didn't show that, but here I have my presence. I'm busy, but I can put that I'm available. So I can put it here as many presences that I want to be assigned. So if it's away, I want it to be assigned as well. It doesn't make any sense, but well, you can create other presences, so that makes sense. Here are the routing rules. This, of course, is on all the conversations, but you can change it and you can add conditions based on the chat, based on the case, based on the customer. So it's really easy to do, But then again, it's not only about the customer. Also, it's the context of the conversation or some variables that you add on the work stream. So to finish on time, what I recommend to begin, it's really simple. I mentioned before. Well, the first, you can create a demo environment. It's not trivial. It's not something that you do in 2 seconds. You need the customer service. Then you need to add the digital message add-on trial. There are free add-ons there that you can choose. You have to choose the one that says trial. Then, of course, analyze your customer service strategy. Get trained. There are a lot of information out there. You have the Learn portal, and if you need, you should just reach the specialist to get the right help. My contact information in case you want to connect. My blog is in Spanish and it's not always updated, but my Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, my personal and professional email, all the things that you can scan. And that's basically all. I want to finish in time in case there is a question. Yes. So
yes, we have a question.
Yes. Yes, Alex. What I show about the entity is about that you can create a work stream for the case entity and make it go through all the distribution process and capabilities that the Omnichannel have. The Power Virtual Agent you assign to the channel actually. So yeah, somewhere we're talking.
So we have another question from.
Yes, yes. If there are routing rules like PBA, the Power Virtualization is something that you configure you deploy it to the channel. So it goes through the PBA first, and if it's needed, then it goes to the agent.
That's great.
So if there is any other question.
I can't see any question.
If not, maybe everyone wants a 5 minutes reset before Sarah came. It's up to you, of course.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a good call.
I should say thanks everyone for being here again. I hope my rusty English wasn't as bad as I think, and I hope you enjoyed the presentation.
Yeah, no, absolutely great. And everyone appreciating about this presentation. You have pulled it off really nicely within the time and really informative session, to be honest. Nicolas, to be honest, like, all the future sessions, I'm looking forward to it as well. So do share your contact information in the chat window so people can be in touch with you.
Course.
And if they have any more further questions, they can ask you.
Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So we have a next session coming up from Sarah, and it's about the create useful and memorable customer experiences using Dynamics 365 and the Power Platform. We got 2 minutes in between. So as Nicolas mentioned, so we got 2 minutes break, and in between, can I ask Sarah, do you want to try your screen sharing and we can check the audio as well?